Western Conference podcast, your boy Big Body Cisco, and I got a special guest, my brother, UFC middleweight fighter, Mr. Brad Tavares. How we doing, B?
I'm good, bro. Thank you for having me.
Come on, I wish it wasn't when you was in training for a fight because we could drink on some of this Dos Caras tequila, our official sponsor here. Shameless plug. But B, how we doing, brother?
I'm good, bro. I actually just came from strength and conditioning. Went home, got a quick meal, and came right here.
Look, and if you follow Brad on social media, when I watch yours, you make me feel like so lazy. I'm like, I got to get up and do something. Because you'll be sitting there hitting the bag, then you'll be in the cold bath.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, okay, I got to go do something with my life.
Bro, so I've been doing ice baths, cold plunges for years now.
Yeah.
Big believer in them for recovery. I think it's one of the greatest recovery tools at my disposal. So I finally actually just teamed up with this company called Revive Plunge.
Oh, nice.
And I got one at my house.
Oh, so you got it at the crib?
I got it at the house now. Yeah. So we got one so I live about 2 minutes away from Extreme Couture.
Okay.
And we're right here next door to the PI.
Yeah.
I'm only about, depending on the lights, I've gotten to the PI from my house in 4 minutes.
Wow.
So, but typically around 8 minutes. But
see, you a Vegas boy now.
Yeah. So everything is close for me, right? So
it's in the same vicinity.
Yeah. So we got an ice bath there at the PI. We got one right there at Couture's.
Yeah.
But I was like, dude, I want one at my house. But in all these years of doing it, this has been the first time that I've been able to wake up first thing in the morning, because that's what they say.
Yeah, right when you wake up.
You ever listen to Tony Robbins?
Yes.
Yeah. So
Tony Robbins, we got big ass hands, but he can tell you some shit.
Yeah. So he's like a big believer of doing it right away, and he does it for not just the physical benefits, but the mental aspect. So I was like, now I have it at the house. I got to get on this. So Monday was the first day I did it. Jump in, stay in for, they say 3 minutes, but I like to stay in a little longer. And man, I woke up on Monday, even though I rested Sunday, I woke up on Monday just still feeling tired and whatever. Jumped in there and
it wakes your ass up.
Yes, it does.
It wakes your ass up. It's like a cold shower, but more cold. It's like freezing at that point.
Yeah, it's 37 degrees.
Wow.
So it's really cold. But man, I've been doing it. So today was day 3 of doing it, and I love it. Yeah. Starting off the day like that is great.
Come on, man. I mean, I start off my day like that just because my hot water's off. And I only got cold water in the shower. So it might be a little bit different.
I've been there before.
But you being a local boy, let's go back to the beginning, man. Coming from Hawaii, what was the whole process of you even coming into the realm that you're in now?
So really, I mean, grew up fighting, you know, and not... I don't know. That's just how it was in Hawaii.
What part of Hawaii?
I'm from the Big Island, from Hilo, Hilo side. Yeah, so same place as BJ, but we went to rival schools. But he's older than me, so we weren't in school at the same time or anything. But yeah, just growing up in Hilo, fighting was the cool thing to do, you know. And it's funny. Some of my best friends, that's how we became best friends. We fought, shook hands after, and then.
See, that's a lost art nowadays.
It is.
In the streets, they don't fight like that no more. Now they're getting guns and all this other bullshit. But back in the day, you could fight and that could turn into your best friend.
Yeah, you would fight and that would end it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Now people hold on to stuff.
The grudge.
I mean, I'm sure just times are changing and the social media and all of that. Back then we had the big video camera. Yeah. So people would record fights and whatever, but it wasn't like today where everybody
could pull their phone out. Yeah. And is that tough as a fighter? Being out with the family and just having to watch every step because now you're under the microscope of somebody's cell phone or somebody just watching what you're doing.
Yes and no. I would say it is there in the back of my mind, but also I'm not to that level of some NFL star where I'm sure any little thing they do, somebody's just trying to catch them.
It's crazy because I was telling a story yesterday. Marshawn Lynch, I go out with him in the Bay Area, and there's always a camera on him. Yeah. And if you go out with Marshawn, you'll know he'll football. He'll knock the camera out of their hands, and I'm like, Marshawn, you can't do that. You know what I mean? Because for what the status you have, but when you grow up and not being used to having somebody's phone in your face, it does get irritating. I can see it when it does with Marshawn, so I can see it with you guys as well.
Yeah, it does. It doesn't bother me. I don't get fully hounded like that, and for the most part, I feel like every fan or whatever I've come across has also always been super respectful. They'll ask, hey, is it cool we got a picture or whatever? Nobody, I never really came across anybody
the disrespectful ones, that are doing too much.
Yeah, and you know what, again, maybe I just ain't to that level of popularity or whatever. But
don't downplay it, B, because you up there.
But I'm happy with it, you know. like I said, everybody that I've come across has been super respectful.
That also comes because you'll whoop that ass too.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to come to a UFC fight, it's a little bit different than football. Oh yeah, they might get tackled, but you don't want to go up to a UFC fighter and be like, oh, let me be disrespectful, because he might torture you like a pretzel.
Hey, you'd be surprised though. Yeah. You get a little alcohol.
Oh yeah, that liquid courage.
and fucking that will change them. You know, like they'll forget. They'll think they're still sitting at their keyboard.
The keyboard gangsters, right?
Keyboard warriors.
But taking us back to Hawaii, what are the pressures of being a fighter from Hawaii? Because there is a lot of pressure being a Polynesian, Hawaiian fighter. How do you take that on?
You know what? Honestly, I didn't feel pressure of it. If anything, I felt the love and the support.
Absolutely.
Like, you know how it is. Yeah. Like, that's the thing I love about Hawaii is, like, no matter what you're doing, you could be on a cooking show. Like, there's been people from Hawaii on cooking shows, and boom, they're putting them on the news, you know, like, which I love. I love that. Like, no matter how big or small it is, that you're getting love and support in Hawaii.
It's that aloha.
Yeah. They love it. They love anything Hawaiian, anything. Like, oh, you're doing something on the next level? Yeah. We're going to showcase you. We're going to broadcast you.
Because the support is crazy.
Yeah.
Like, especially, I mean, do you feel that during your fights when you're doing the walkout? Oh, when you're hearing the chihus and all that come by?
100%.
That gets the blood going.
And that's why I love fighting out here in Vegas. You know, like, this is my new hometown. We'll probably never see a UFC Hawaii. Not in my career anyway. I've been hearing it years and years ago, but I doubt it'll ever happen.
This is the closest you're going to get. Yeah, this is Vegas. Yeah, being the ninth island.
Yeah, and you come out, you see all the Hawaiian flags, you hear the chihus. I mean, I love it.
I'm not going to lie to you, Brad. I just moved out here a couple of years ago during the pandemic, and you know, everyone was talking about, oh, it's the ninth island. I didn't really know what they were talking about. Yeah. I went to the local supermarket. Everybody's in flip-flops, ears. I'm like, wait, am I back in Hawaii right now? Because you see that big demographic that just came over here and all the transplants coming from Hawaii, where it is literally the ninth island.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. And so, okay, funny little story is this past weekend, my daughter just competed in jiu-jitsu, her first jiu-jitsu tournament. I pulled up there and I was like, dude, I feel like I'm back in Hawaii.
Come on.
Like, all the families, and not just from the same school, every different school, different Hawaiian families. And you can tell because, you know, they're just in body language. I can tell how they dress. I can tell how they walk. Like, just, I don't know. I can look at somebody from Hawaii and the way they look back. I'm
exactly.
Like,
and you see that. Exactly. You throw up the shako one time, and I've noticed that doing shows here. You know, we went to the Common King show that we had at Azillo, and, you know, we're doing Holo Holo Festival coming up. It's just the demographic out here is just like a second home. And me doing shows in Hawaii and here, you hear more louder cheers here from the Hawaiian people than you do in Hawaii.
Oh, 100%.
Because out here you have, you know, the Common Kings, Boogie, and all them come out here. But the love out here is crazy. Like, how was that transition, or was it an easy transition from Hawaii to moving to Vegas?
I think because of that, it was an easy transition. Obviously, in the beginning, I missed my family. I missed Hawaii itself, the ocean, because I love the ocean. I love
that's one thing, the ocean.
Diving, spearfishing.
Lake Mead's cool, but it ain't the ocean.
Oh, definitely not. It was actually kind of easy because right away I met right away I started working at Hawaiian Airlines, and everybody that was working there, all locals, you know, all from Hawaii. So immediately I was immersed with right into the ninth island culture, I guess you could say. They took me to the food spots. They took me to the Pure Aloha Festival.
Yeah, come on.
All of that stuff. So it was pretty easy. And even now, more and more and more people are coming here from Hawaii, you know, and I feel like it's getting easier. Look, we're about to have a Zippies here.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for that Zippies to open because I hope they're 24 hours like the ones in Hawaii.
They better be.
Yeah, because if they close at 9, you can just close it down.
Yeah.
But taking us back to when you talk about working for Hawaiian Airlines, that transition, I always like to talk about people's humble beginnings. When you moved out here, you knew you were already going to be in the fight game, yeah?
Yeah, so this was the plan. So I was on Oahu. I'd moved to Oahu. So from Big Island, I went out to San Diego. I lived there for a semester of school. I played at a little JUCO called Palomar Junior College.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
So I played out there. Typical local boy, small island mentality. I was over it as soon as I got there. I was like, oh, this is not home, far away from home. Missed everybody, missed everything. So one semester, I went right back to Hawaii.
Yeah.
Which, whatever, you know, I wasn't, at the time, because I'm born late in the year, in December, I was only 17, couldn't do anything. Yeah. Everything was harder to get there for me because I was 17. So I went right back to Hawaii, and then I ended up a few months back being on the Big Island. Yeah. I ended up moving to Oahu. And when I was on YOEL, that's when I kind of started like training to fight. And I met my brothers from MMAD, Team MMAD, and my coach, Brandon Wolf. And he, right away, like he had this plan for us, the younger generation of fighters. He was like, hey, look, this is what we're going to do. 2 years' time, we're going to fight all the regional shows that we can. We're going to dominate Hawaii, capture every belt, and beat everybody that we can. And in 2 years, we're going to move to Vegas. Because at that time, Extreme Couture was like, Vegas was still, I mean, it still is the mecca of fighting. But Extreme Couture was one of those huge gyms. Like back then, this was like 2008 or so. There wasn't, the UFC and MMA wasn't where it is today. Where you can kind of go anywhere and find a good gym. And a lot of times you'll go even to a small gym and you'll find that's the home of some UFC fighter. You know, the sport has just blown up. But back then, there was only a few gyms, and Extreme Couture was one of them. And he had a friend here, Mac Danzig, that was training here, and was like, yeah, I'll be like the bridgeway for you guys. So he made this plan, 2 years, we'll do that. And it was crazy, almost like 2 years exactly. A job opening in Hawaiian Airlines came up, and I was like, I'm gonna put in for it. So
look how God works, right?
Exactly. So I put in for the job. The posting closed, and they're like, oh, you got awarded the job. I was like, okay, cool.
Nice.
So when do I have to move? They're like, in 2 weeks.
Oh, wait, so it kind of sped up the process.
Oh, big time.
You wasn't ready for that 2 weeks. Oh, we're already in 2 weeks.
Yeah, so that was kind of like that was pressure right there. Like, okay, finding a place to live, all that. Anyway.
And you're still so young at that time, too.
It all worked out. I came up here. I was working for Hawaiian Airlines. And then prior to, I had tried out for the Ultimate Fighter.
Yeah, that's right.
And I was supposed to get in, but it was season 10. And they were going to do heavyweights and middleweights, but because Kimbo Slice was on the card and they were going to use his name to build the show, they couldn't take the chance that he was going to lose in the initial fight and not get in the house.
Oh, so they had to move it around.
So they made it all heavyweights, and then they did because at this point they were making everybody fight to get into the house. They did away with that. They're just like, okay, we're starting off with these, 16 guys, these 16 heavyweights. So they called me and they're like, hey, we're going to have you on the season, this and that, blah, blah, blah. And then they called me back and they're like, oh, sorry, we're not going to use you. And they couldn't tell me why. So I was a little bit crushed.
So you're like, man, because that was going to be the shot.
I was like, man, they didn't pick me. But
it messes with the mental.
When after one of my friends was on the show, Scott Jung, and when he came out, he was like, oh, this is why. And I was like, okay. And then I was on the very next season
11.
But I was living up here already. So once I got into there, I was still working at Hawaiian, and I made it work. I was like, okay, I'm going to be gone. I think it was like 6 weeks for filming.
Oh, so Hawaiian Air let you go do this?
Well, yes and no. They worked with me. They let me take vacation. They let me use sick days and trades. So I was able to cover that 6 weeks that I was gone.
Hustling.
Hustling. And then when I came out, I was still working for Hawaiian. And then I realized, I was like, you know what? I got to focus everything on fighting. This is my shot. So I quit, and then been fighting full
That had
time.
to be hard because you don't want to give them them benefits, especially fly to Hawaii.
That just I could care less about the job, but the benefits, the flight benefits, because that's also I think what made it so easy when I transitioned up here. Is like if I was feeling
absolutely,
I jumped on a plane.
Come on.
People are like, "Oh, you're crazy! You're gonna go to Hawaii. You're gonna sit on a plane for 12 hours, round trip."
Why not?
You spend a few hours
but I
there?
can do it. You know what I mean?
Like, yeah, exactly. Why not?
When you have that accessibility to being able to fly home, you're going to do it. I mean, I get homesick. I live in the Bay Area. And I'll just hop on an hour flight. But, it's little with Hawaii. But if you can do it, why not?
Yeah, exactly.
Going back to the Ultimate Fighter 11, how was the experience with Chuck Liddell?
Oh, I loved it. I loved it. You know, and I think for where I was in life, it worked out perfectly for me. Because I was the youngest guy in there. I was 21. I think I had actually just turned 22, literally like a week or 2 weeks before we started.
Man, Brad, that's the years that's the party years right there.
Yeah, so I was the young buck in there, and I remember thinking like there was guys in there that was like 32, 33, way older than me, and it was funny to me because a lot of them they couldn't handle it. They're like, you could see it. They're going stir crazy. They're like, I can't do it, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, dude, I'm having the time of my life. Like, granted, I cannot talk to my friends and family, but I'm like, dude, this is the first time in my life, besides when I was a kid, that I'm living responsibility free. Literally. Like, I wash my own clothes. I clean my own dishes. That's about it. But any food I needed, I wrote it on a piece of paper. Boom. Next morning, it was there on the counter. I just had to cook for myself. Yeah. Then I was like, so we would train twice a day. One day I was like, oh, I'm going to push it. Like, I feel like sleeping in. So I was like, I'm not going to set an alarm. I'm going to just sleep, whatever. I'm going to skip training. Nope. The producers came in there like, hey, Brad, come on, you gotta go.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, I don't even have to set an alarm.
Exactly.
If I don't want to.
The producers aren't the alarm at that point.
Yeah. I was like, I got no worries, no responsibilities. I love this.
Yeah.
Like, this is the greatest thing ever. Now, fast forward to all these years, had I had to do that now, it would kill me to be away from my kids.
Now you're in the shoes of the fighters that were there when you were younger.
Exactly.
Now you're in their position. Yeah.
Now I get it. Like, you know, they miss their kids. They kind of like not being able to see or talk to my kids for 6 weeks. I'll be like, nah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I'm not
sacrifice. It's a sacrifice those fighters at that time had to take.
And now I see like the sacrifice they made, you know, and I respect it way more. I understand it now because now I get why. Like, I'm looking at them laughing like, dude, you guys are idiots. This is the easiest 6 weeks ever.
Come on.
And
you're a 22-year-old kid.
Yeah.
Like, like we're talking about responsibility free. At that point in time, that's your passion.
Yep.
Because now you kind of have like the leeway into what you want to do. Like, what was the thing for you to say, I want to be a fighter? Not just a UFC fighter, I want to be an MMA fighter. What clicked in you to get that?
So, funnily enough, I fell into it.
Yeah.
So, growing up, me and he's literally like my brother, my best friend, Devin. We, from 8th, 9th grade, we went home every day from school and we had these TKO boxing gloves, these black and white gloves, and we used to just put them on and just spar every day.
Just you and Devin?
Just me and him. Just me and him.
Had the gloves on too.
and you know, like that kind of piqued my interest in it and watching it growing up and going to the Rumble on the Rock in Hilo and seeing all these guys, BJ and Ross and all these older guys. Yeah. Like, the love for it was there. But when I started actually doing it, I had just, like I said, I came back from JUCO. I was huge. I was 240 pounds. I was like, dude, I need to do something. Like, I'm not one of those guys at that time that was like, I'm going to wake up, go run and lift weights. Like,
what you play at Palomar?
Linebacker.
Come on.
Yeah.
So you talk about the transition from linebacker to being a fighter. It's like, okay, you got to make some changes.
Yeah, a little bit. But I feel like football players transition over to fighting so well. Yeah. But yeah, so I was like, I needed to do something to lose weight. That was really what it was. I was like, look good in I look kind of thick in a shirt, but when we're going to the beach, I'm sucking it in. You know what I mean? So I was like, I got to do something.
Yeah.
So I met this guy. This kid I was working with, Ikaika, and he's like, bro, I'm training at this guy's house. It's free. Just come by. I was like, okay.
Oh, we love that word free.
Yeah. That's my
free training.
Word.
I'm there. Yeah.
So I was like, cool, let's go. So I went over to this guy's house, Steve Farmer, and he's actually a black belt Taekwondo.
Yeah.
And he was like just getting into MMA too himself. Like, he started like loving it. You know, he come from Taekwondo background. So he turned his garage into like a home gym. He actually had a dojo. It was like a Taekwondo dojo. But then he started transitioning it towards MMA.
MMA, yeah.
And what it was is like, he was just be like, hey, whoever wants to come, like, we're going to train and do shit and learn shit together and, you know, build together.
Whoever's willing to come over here and slang them,
I started doing it just to get a workout in to lose weight. And then 1 month in, he's like, you want to fight? I was like, yeah, let's do it. So I did this thing called Got Skills, where it's like an introduction into MMA. The first round.
How old were you then?
I was 18.
Man.
Yeah. No, yeah. I was 18. Yeah, 18 years old. Yeah. And so I was like, okay, let's do it. So the first round was only a minute, and it was kickboxing with headgear, 16-ounce gloves, and shin pads.
Man.
And then after...
Wait, were you versed in the kickboxing? You would just say, I'm just going to go fight?
Yeah, it's like, I'm just going to go fight. Like, whoever it is, I'm going to fight. The second round...
Kickboxing or not?
Yeah, the second round, they took the shin pads off, and it was boxing with takedowns. So you could box, but you could also...
So every round was something different?
Yes.
Come on,
yeah.
Man.
And then in the third round, you take off all the gear, and it's just grappling from the feet.
Wow.
So like, you just start on the feet, and mind you, like, I come from no martial arts background.
Yeah.
I don't know how to wrestle. I don't know like how to box outside of sparring with my brother. Kickbox, none of that. I came from none of that. I came from fighting on a street.
So you were learning as you were going along.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. 100%. Anyway, I won that first fight. Then he's like, you want to fight MMA? I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
So like a couple of months, I just had to lose the weight. So for that first fight, I had lost all this weight, 40 pounds or whatever. Yeah. That fight was at 200 pounds, like catch weight or whatever. And then I was like, yeah, if I fight MMA, I'm going to be a middleweight, you know, like I still got some fat to lose. So I cut down to 185, took my first fight, and I won by like a first round knockout. And I was like, dude, this is like the best feeling ever. Like,
now it's in you. Now it's in you. Now you're like, okay, now I got that fire in me. Now I won this first fight, so we're ready to go.
So I moved from Steve Farmer's place. That was when I met Colo Coca, Brandon, and all those guys. Started training at Team MMAD, an actual like MMA gym with structure. And
where they were actually doing the MMA shit. Yeah,
with veteran fighters and stuff. And you know, the rest is history. Like I just fell into it. I fell in love with it. And at first, honestly, I didn't think like, oh, this is gonna be my job. Yeah. But at the time, I was working full time. I was still going to school full time, and training. And I remember saying to myself like, okay, like I don't have a lot of time to do all of this. Yeah. So I was like, okay, I gotta work. It's Hawaii.
You gotta make money.
You gotta work. It's expensive. I was like, all right, what am I gonna do? Am I gonna go to school and be like, I didn't even
pick
know
one at that, but that's the fork in the road.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Or I was like, or am I gonna fight? And then this is how I like this is what helped me make my decision. I was like, all right, well, if I pick school now, you know, like my athletic ability will over time diminish.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like I'm only gonna be young once. Yeah. I was like, if I pick fighting, I could always go back to school. Yeah. I might be rusty, but my brain will always be there, hopefully. Yeah. And I was like, fuck it. I quit school. Yeah. I'm going to fight. And then, shit just all worked out for me. And I look back at it, I was like, I made the right decision. Because I was going to school, but I had no clue what I wanted to do.
I mean, it's not like we're deterring you kids from going to school. We're just saying that if you have this opportunity, which you had, and you're at that fork in the road, there's got to be some decisions that need to be made. There's the pros and the cons that you weigh it out. And something that you were in the position you were in and take, come on, man. Now you got to take us to the journey, how you went from that to even getting involved with the UFC through Ultimate Fighter after that.
Yeah, so again, like I said, when I was living in Hawaii, the Ultimate Fighter show was around. It started popping. Kendall Grove was on there, you know, another local boy. The season right before, my friend Scott Junk was on there. So it was something that, you know, we were familiar with. And like I said, I tried out for season 10. I was supposed to get on, but they did away at middleweights. So they called me back for season 11. They're like, hey, we're doing season 11. It will be middleweights. They're like, we're already senior trial. We're already senior interview. So you don't need to do this. But if you can make it, we're having a tryout again in California. I forget where exactly it was. It was somewhere in California.
It was in Cali,
Yeah, in LA somewhere. It wasn't far. And they're like, if you can make it, it would be good, because I think Dana and Joe Silva at the time were going to be there in person. And I was like, all right, I live in Vegas now. I'll just drive.
Yeah.
So we went, we did the tryout. They're like, okay, cool. Everything was good. And they called me up. They're like, okay, we're going to use you. So I did the Ultimate Fighter. And then you got to fight I made it to the semifinals, ended up losing that bout to my friend Court, who ended up going on to win the show. But then you got to fight in the finale. So I fought in the finale. I won that fight, and that's how you secure your contract. Yeah. And I've been in the UFC ever since, man. So since 2010.
Come on, Brad.
2023 now. 13 years.
But see, but after Ultimate Fighter, you the dude. You know, like once people start seeing the show, you're the dude. Yeah. You know what I mean? I was like, oh, that's the dude from the Ultimate Fighter. Yeah. Like now you're transitioning into your professional career. Mm-hmm. You're signing with the UFC. I mean, now you're just trying to get who you're going to fight. Like, I was going over your roster. You fought the top of the top. Yeah. I mean, we already talked about you fought the Adesanyas, the Whitakers, and the Romeros, but, like, you kind of made a name for yourself as a middleweight. How do you kind of, like, say, I could be a heavyweight if I just want to be heavier? You know what I mean? When they did the heavyweight thing with Kimbo, did you have a decision to say, I could be a heavyweight too?
Nah, I knew, like, I've always been, like, well aware of, like, okay, size-wise, like, even, like, so it's funny, like people will look at me and my upper body is not all that big, but if you see my legs.
Big ass legs.
Exactly. Typical poly build, right?
Yeah.
And
got them tree trunks.
They're exactly. And they're like, oh, like, why don't you go down to 170? I'm like, dude, I already cut 16, 17 pounds, 24 hours out.
That's crazy.
To make 185. Yeah. I could not think of having to cut an additional 15 pounds. Like that would kill me. Life would not be enjoyable. I don't think I could do it, you know? And now it's funny because all the middleweights are getting so big now. Like they're getting tall. Like look at Israel. He's like 6'4". Pereira. Like come on, all these tall guys.
Big old trees just towering over everybody.
Yeah, but I've always been comfortable right here at middleweight. Like I've never felt like guys are taller and longer, but it is you'll come across those guys in any weight division.
That's that Hawaiian mentality, though. The bigger they are, the harder they fall.
Yeah, like what I would do is if they change it to like, day of weigh-ins. Yeah. So basically all the middleweights would just move up to 205 so we don't have to cut any weight. Oh, I'd love to do that. Don't have to cut weight. Fucking sign me up.
But you being in the UFC and you kind of like, now you're the veteran guy in here now. How has your journey been since your first fight up until now that you got a fight coming up against Bruno? How has that whole transition for you been, not just for you personally as a fighter, but you as your personal status as being a Hawaiian fighter and being in Vegas? Like, how does that stature for you sit with you?
So the funny thing is, like, in the fight game itself, like, I don't know, I feel like it's not really changed. Like, it feels like more people, I guess, know me now. I'm one of the more veteran guys. Yeah. So yeah, that has changed. But I feel it more like on the mats. Like, bro, I'm literally the most veteran guy at our gym now. You know, when like, it feels like yesterday when I first got there. Yeah. And I was this young 21, 22-year-old kid, just fresh, just getting into the UFC. Actually, not even in the UFC yet. Yeah. And then now, fast forward, like, I'm that guy now that I was looking up to these guys, the Jay Hirons, the Martin Kampmans, you know, these guys that I always looked up to. I'm them now. Like, I'm the veteran guy, and now we see these kids coming in, and they're asking me, like, you know, my advice, picking my brain, like what they should do. So that's pretty cool. And then as far as the Hawaii thing, like, I've been like I didn't really think about it at first, but when I look back at it, and then like other Hawaii fighters will mention it in their interviews, like, I've been really the gateway for the Hawaii fighters up here. Like, most of all the Hawaiians that do come up here end up training at Extreme Couture. Yeah. And it's because, like, I feel like, you know, like, I came up, me, and then right after me was the Hansen brothers.
Yeah, your influence too as well.
And then we just started having a wave of guys. Dan Ige came up. Yeah. Punahele, Puni, like, all of these young guys now. We got Kai Boy up here. All these guys, you know, Rodney, and it goes on. Ty.
It's almost like a brotherhood. At that point. It is. Everyone's clicks up with their clicks, but when the Hawaii boys get to bed, they're going to support you till the end.
Yeah, so it was funny because when I first got here, the Hawaiians, we were a minority, and now we're like the majority.
Yeah, exactly.
The tables have turned.
But now I feel like Vegas is the UFC Hawaii.
Oh, 100%.
And I feel like when they do have it at the T-Mobile, or if they have the Apex, you have that Hawaiian presence there where it's just like, the Ninth Island, we're here.
Yep. And it's Vegas locals from Hawaii, and it's also the Hawaiians that still are coming up here. Yeah. You know the Hawaiians love to come to Vegas.
Come on,
they love Vegas.
They love gambling and they love eating good. Oh, yeah. And that's two things they got over here in abundance. Yeah. Speaking of eating good, like moving out here, when I moved out here, I gained 50 pounds because of all the foods out here. What are some of your favorites? Because I know you're on your training mode right now, but when you are just kind of eating with the family, what are some of your favorites?
My training mode, not training mode. The diet is kind of the same. My go-tos, all-you-can-eat sushi.
Yes.
And all-you-can-eat Korean barbecue.
Come on. Who's your favorite? Because I have two favorites out here. My favorite all-you-can-eat sushi is Sin City Sushi. Okay. And then my favorite all-you-can-eat Korean is Koji.
Koji. You know what? I've heard of Koji. I've been hearing, so I'm going to have to try them. I've not tried them yet. I go right over to Master Kim's at Town Square.
I heard about Master Kim's. I got to try them.
They're good.
That's not the first time I heard that, too. Master Kim's is good.
They're good. And you know what I love about that location specifically is they have the vent in the grill.
Oh, so it doesn't go up to smoke.
Yeah, so you don't get all smoky.
Okay, we need that.
Yeah.
Because I'll be coming out smelling like a Korean, like a cow bee. Yeah. And I get all the big girls like, hey, daddy. They just smell the cow bee off me. And it's like, no, that's just the barbecue you smelling right now.
Yeah, and then one of my favorite new spots to go eat all-you-can-eat sushi is this spot called It's Sushi.
It's
right up the road. They opened one up on the southwest side, so Warm Springs and Durango.
See, come on, Vegas people. You got to know, like, everyone's talking about the good eats in Vegas. Yeah. And I always try to find it when I talk to a fighter, like, how do you steer away? I mean, of course, you know you got to train. Yeah. But there's so much good food out here.
Yeah, there is.
Like, and especially Hawaiians, they got all their, the Hawaiian food out here is in abundance as well. And then there's like a good red rice spam musubi that they have over there. Yep. Where, how do you kind of just say, I got to stay away for this training method, or it's like I can eat a little bit and still work it off?
So luckily for me, I think because of my, like I always say, like after my fighting career, I'm going to be a sumo wrestler.
And we had Konishiki in here the other day too. So,
nice.
So there you go.
So
another Hawaii boy.
It's just because my appetite is so ferocious. Like, and it's funny because of my appetite.
Yeah.
That's why I think is one of the reasons why I work out so hard. You know what I mean? So I can afford to eat like that. You know, like I work hard this morning. Now I can go eat sushi later. I enjoy it.
I tell people when I go to the gym, I work out just to eat.
Oh, 100%. Same.
Shout out DJ Franzi because we go to the gym and we're like, oh, we're going to eat because we're going to have a good meal later on.
Exactly.
Yeah, man.
That's exactly why I love working out hard thinking like, okay, I'm going to eat some Korean barbecue later. I'm going to eat some sushi later.
The sushi be off the hook out here. I don't know how the sushi's so good out here and we're in the desert.
Yeah, we're in the desert.
When I moved out here, I said there's no way there's good sushi out here. But they got some of the best sushi out here where they got good poke out here. They got some good stuff out here where, goddamn, we get shipped in from Hawaii or wherever they get it from, like daily. Fresh. Yeah. I'm like, come on. So next fight you got coming up, April 22nd against Bruno Silva. What's the mentality going to this one now being a vet? You know what I mean? Now you is it a different mentality from when you had past fights to the fight now? Now your whole focus is on Bruno Silva on this fight night.
You know, what I do is like, I'll go fight to fight, like, and learning from it. So I always say you win some, you learn some. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like it'll never be a loss if you can learn from it. And again, my last fight, I dropped a decision, but I learned a lot in that fight. You know, I learned a lot in that fight. And that's things that I'm going to take into this fight, and things that it's funny, like I love winning, trust me. Like I rather win always, but I always feel like when I come off of a loss, there's just a different fire there, you know, like it makes me hungrier to learn, to grow, to evolve,
learn from whatever you thought you did wrong at that time.
And that's I think that's the most important thing, because all these years that I've seen people do it, it's when, and you kind of see it in them, it's when in their head they're done learning. I can't learn anymore, and that's when they start falling off. You gotta
always gotta be a student of the game, right?
You gotta know and realize. And whenever I hit that point, because I'm getting towards, you know, the end of my career, when I first started, I always said, 35 I'm done. And I'm here at 35 and I'm like, hell no, I feel great.
Fire's still there.
Yeah, exactly. But that's it. Once that fire is not burning in me, that's when I'm gonna hang it up. Like once I'm not hungry anymore, not hungry to compete, not hungry to fight, to learn, to grow, that's when I know, like, that for me is like, okay, then I'm done.
Yeah. And we always talk about that too. Like, is a fighter's, you know, creed to go out with the win? Because we just seen Henderson the other day, he fought and he gave it up after a loss. And it's tougher on you guys to say, okay, it's easy to have that emotion right after a loss or a win to kind of just say something, you know, real, this is it for me. But then later on get that fight like, nah, I'm not done. So like, is it harder for you now to gotta say, if I do lose a fight or if I do win a fight, I want to go out on top, or I don't want to go out like this?
Oh, no matter what, you want to go out on top. You want to go out on a win, you know. But you see it all the time. Like another guy that just was training with us, had a long career, Rafael Assunção.
Yeah, come on, man.
Yeah, great fight, you know, doing good, winning the fight. And then right at the end, just things took a turn.
Man.
But, you know, he knows it, like, in his heart that, you know, he's done for right now anyway. You know, because, hey, take a year off, that fire's still there, things could change. You might want to come back. You see it all the time. You see guys retiring and then...
Like Tom Brady. Tom Brady retired how many times? He's still always coming back,
you know, because I think for a competitor, that competitive edge is always there.
Man, come on.
It's that itch you want to scratch. But funny enough, one of my friends, Josh, that trains with us, so he was on Ultimate Fighter, fought in UFC a little bit and in other organizations. He ended up retiring a few years ago, and then he got that itch again, and he wanted to come back. He's like, okay, I'm going to come back. So he did a fight. He's a big boy, so he did a fight at heavyweight. So he used to fight in UFC at 185, but he's really tall. Yeah. He's like 6'4", or so 6'5".
Big dog.
Yeah, he's big. Yeah. So if he puts that weight on, he can be an actual heavyweight, you know, at least a 205er. But he came back, fought on a regional show, heavyweight, for a belt. He won the belt. So right after the fight, I asked him, I was like, so what, you back, bro? He's like, no. He's like, that was actually perfect for me, because going
that's all he needed, right?
Going through that camp, it was that's the reassurance that I needed, that I was over it.
And that goes back to what we're talking about Shaq. Like Shaq was talking about, he DJs only because he wants that feeling back. Yeah. You know, having the crowd scream his name and everything. And now I'm like, wait, Shaq's a DJ? But he only does it because the feeling that he gets from the people,
Yeah.
the crowd reaction,
Yeah.
the when they just kind of focus on him. And that's the kind of thing in anything that we do. Yeah. Competitive fighting, you know, playing basketball, football. A lot of people that I see is like, man, could you ever play football? Like, man, I want to, you know, I got a lot of family that played in the NFL.
Yeah.
And they're like, I want to play like one last time. Like, oh, but then they see these kids that are in there now, like, never mind. It was cool.
Yeah.
It sounded good at first.
Let's go back and do like the, like how they have class reunion.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's get all the old guys. Let's put them in pads.
Put them in pads and see what the old Al Bundys out there. Yeah. How many 3 touchdowns you have in one game?
Yeah, but nah, this 21-year-old coming up running a 4.40. Yeah, you cool. You stay on the side.
And how do you view the younger fighters that are coming up now of being in the position you're at? Do you see a lot of good fighters stepping up in the ranks?
Oh, I do.
Yeah,
I do. I see a lot of good fighters. The game and the sport is evolving, and you see it with these younger guys. You know, the game is changing, and it's crazy to see. Like you got somebody like that kid. He'd been in our gym a few times. I don't know his first name. Rosas is his last name.
Raul. Okay.
Yep.
Thank you, Austin.
Rosas. Thank you, Google.
No, he's a friend of the studio.
Yeah. So like that kid is 18.
Yeah.
You know? Or maybe he just turned 19. But yeah, to be in the UFC, like that is crazy to me.
Yeah.
Because I remember when I was 18, 19, I wasn't at man strength yet.
I'm listening to you, what you talk about when you were at 18, and I'm thinking I was nowhere near that when I was 18. I was partying, clubbing, doing everything we wasn't supposed to do. I mean, now these kids now is more focused on what their passion is going to be at that time. I'm just like, I would never find my passion at 18, but like the kid Raul, he's finding what his fire is at an early age, which is fortunate for him.
Yeah, and it's great for him. And to be like, it impresses me, honestly. Like, does he have a long way to go and learn and grow, like physically, both physically and talent-wise? Yeah, he does. But the fact that he can go out there and compete with grown men, like, 18, you might be legally a man, right? But you're not a man yet.
But he ain't got that old man strength yet.
He's not a man yet. So for him to be able to go out on the biggest stage, compete and be successful, like, man, hats off to him. Like, that is impressive. You know, that is impressive to me.
We're talking about your daughter's jiu-jitsu.
Yep.
I mean, do you want her to be in competitive fighting, or is that just something to kill time right now?
Hell no. I want her to.
I was about to say.
It's funny. So my girl, when we first had her, she was like, oh, what if she wants to fight? And I was like, hell no.
That's always the question, right?
Hell no. Even if I had a son, like, I'm like, nah.
Yeah.
Like, I lived this life. I seen it.
I did it so you didn't have to do it. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, so I always put in her, like, you're going to be a doctor. You're going to
feed it to her now, right?
One day daddy's going to be all old, crippled, and fucked up. You got to take care of me. So you're going to be a doctor.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, definitely I will always support her in whatever it is that she's passionate about. But I do, as a woman, as a girl, a female, I do want her to be able to protect herself.
Come on.
You know what I mean? Like,
we're living in a crazy world right now. Of course you want them to know how to do what they do.
Hell yeah. And I feel like even when I get older, I'll be able to protect her to some extent, you know, for the years. Like, I think even at 60, I'll still be able to scrap. But maybe.
Come on, at that point, you have that old Hawaiian man strength. And that strength is like no other. I'll tell you guys that right now. Old Polynesian strength, when they get to 60, that's when their hands start to be like clubs.
Yeah.
And I've been hit with a few of them, so I know what I'm talking about.
No, like, I've always said, like, you know, people ask me all the time, like, because I got into so many, like, fights growing up and stuff. And I'm like, dude, I've never false crack, like sucker punch somebody. I've never done that. I don't, like, when I think back, I'm like, I don't think I've ever even, like, thrown a first punch. I've always, like, told them, like, at least, like, try to hit me or at least swing at me first. And I know now it's
then on. I know, you really do want to fight.
You know what I mean?
Now I know it's real.
When I get old and there's some young punk trying to mess with my daughter, I'll walk up behind him and smoke his ass. I know I'm old.
See, we gonna get it popping in here. But let's go back to what we were talking about. UFC career, man. You've fought top of the top. How do you kind of see where you see transition from when you were younger, or Ultimate Fighter? Now they're going into what we're talking about with the kid, 18 years old.
Yep.
You've seen the whole transition. Are you kind of adapting to what's going on now with, as far as like the promotion side of it? You know, I see a lot of the promotion. It's not like WWE. I won't say that, but I was saying that we're living in a social media world. Yeah, it is, right? we're living in a social media world where you kind of have to have that mantra. You didn't have to have it as much back in the day, but now I feel in this social media show-off world we're in, you kind of got to have that. What's your thoughts on that?
100%. So, fuck, it's so hard for me. So, my brother Devin, he's always telling me, he's like, bro, you got to like, so the funny thing is a lot of people don't know, only the ones in my circle, I'm a fucking huge shit talker.
Yeah.
I'm always talking shit to people. Like, even if you came into my gym, people that just walked through the door, I'm giving them a hard time. Like, that's just how I am. Like, I love fucking with people, but I do it all in fun and like never to pick on or bully anybody. You know what I mean? Like, I just do it.
It's just in your nature. Yeah. Shit talking.
And he's like, bro, you're naturally like that. So why don't you ever like, get
why
on
don't you?
And I'm like, bro, I don't know. Like, I just, the way I came up and maybe, I don't know, I just always seen like, this is a warrior. The warrior is respectful. You know, he's respect, courage, discipline, honor. You know, and I don't know. It's like, it's hard for me. Like, if somebody provoked me, I guess I could kind of might like be like, fuck you or whatever, or be, you know, whatever. But I don't know. A lot of it, like Kobe Covington, for example. Like,
here we go.
No, don't get me wrong. That guy, you watch him, like, if you can get past his irritating like shenanigans, if you really watch him, he's just fucking a great fighter.
Yeah.
He has like decent striking, great wrestling, excellent cardio. You know what I mean? But he's just fucking annoying.
It's hindered because of the annoyance, right? Yeah.
But that's what like you gotta do nowadays to like put yourself.
That's what sells, right? Yeah.
And that's what these guys are doing. You know, like they're all trying to copy Conor McGregor. Yeah. Like Conor came in, he did it very well. Yeah. And he had the fight skill to back it up. You know, like before, like I didn't even really care for Conor. Not so much care for him because I actually met and trained with him out here before he was Conor McGregor. Yeah. And he was actually a super cool dude. And you see it in his fights. Like after, right when the fight is over, you see how like he is a warrior, how respectful he is. But he's just a genius when it comes to the mental warfare and
because it has to click back on, right?
Yeah.
You be a humble warrior, then all of a sudden the camera's go on. You're like, oh shit, I got to be that.
But now you got all these guys trying to fucking copycat him and not doing a good job of it at all. You know what I mean?
And you see it firsthand.
Yeah. You see it firsthand. Like to me, it's like, okay, like Kobe's spiel. Like, okay, I understand you do that. But then when you talk shit and then you see somebody face to face, like at the end of the day, you're a fighter. So you still like, bro, if this guy, like you offended him, like fucking fight him.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, but
don't talk all that shit and then not do it.
But they'll hide behind the, but we're not getting paid to do this. Like, who gives a shit? Like, you're a fucking fighter, like fucking fight. You know what I mean?
And do you think that's a lot of that's like the easy way out, right? That's like the easy excuse to say, oh, we're not getting paid enough. But like, you don't want to get your ass whooped from this dude, right?
Yeah. Like, and you seen it with him like back like years ago when him and Kamaru were backstage, and Kamaru was like, oh, like I'm right here, motherfucker. Like, what now? Bro, he wouldn't even look at him. Yeah. But then they go out onto the stage and his mouth is
now he's talking
bigger
big.
Than the state. Exactly.
And you know, especially being Hawaiian, Polynesian, when you see that, that's those ones that's like, okay, motherfucker. Yeah. Now you faking for everybody, but now when it's time to get down to it, you ain't do it. Who's some of your favorite personalities in the sport right now? Because we're talking about personalities at this point.
Oh, I'll tell you right now, because I see him every day. Sean Strickland.
Sean Strickland.
Shout out Sean Strickland.
Man.
Dude, this guy, like, he is fucking hilarious. Yeah. Like, he just says what he's thinking, that's why. A lot of people have
without even thinking.
Exactly. A lot of people have to think about it. Like, should I say that? No, this fucker don't care.
Yeah.
He's saying whatever. Filter. No filter at all. But it's funny. Like, I always tell him, I'm like, Sean, you're actually like everybody thinks he's an asshole. Yeah. You know, which I guess depending who you are, you could find him as an asshole. Yeah. But like, I'm like, dude, the things you're saying, there is truth behind it. You just fucking don't deliver it well.
You're saying it in the worst way.
Yeah. Like, even when he's trying to be motivational to somebody, he's like, oh, come on, stop being a pussy. You're being a fucking pussy. Like, yeah, I get what you're trying to do.
Yeah,
but not everybody can.
It's not coming off the way,
Not everybody can receive that way and be like, oh, okay, yeah, fuck, I'm acting like, you know what I mean? But he's got to be my favorite personality in the fight game right now.
But is that so? Like, we're talking about like Sean, and we're talking about personalities in the game right now. But is that something that in this day and age you kind of got to have along with your fighting skill? You kind of got to have that personality too, right?
Yeah, I think
to sell a fight.
So if you wanna approach it from like a business aspect, you really do, because you have to be a personality, right? Yeah. Like, you can be a great fighter, but if you're
boring,
if you're kind of drab, they won't really push you. You know what I mean? But now if you're this great fighter, but you go out there and like you say the
sell
things,
it.
Yeah. If you get the crowd and the fans involved and people wanting to see this shit.
That's the business.
Yep. It is. It's a business. At the end of the day, it's a business. It's like the NFL, right? Like you could have this guy and he's been so great, but at the end of the day, it's a business.
Yeah.
So the second he stops producing, ship him off. You know what I mean? Like, and at the end, and it sucks.
Yeah.
But it's a fucking business.
Come on. At the end of the day, right? That's all what you're going to be told. It's a business at the end of the day, right? Talking about older fights, like who that you fought already, that you kind of like, well, we talk about ISREAL ADESANYA, we talk about Whitaker and Royal, but who out of all those have you seen grown into their own? Like Izzy was up there, but of course he took his loss. Have you seen kind of his growth? Do you guys kind of watch each other and kind of say, okay, I remember when I fought him, he didn't do this. But now when I see him fight now, he kind of learned this.
Yeah. No, 100%. The thing about Israel that amazes me is like his breathing.
Yeah.
Like one of his fights didn't open his mouth once, just breathing through his fucking nose. And I'm like, dude, that is impressive. You know what I mean? So yeah, 100%. You do watch stuff like that, but you have to. You got to be a student of the game. You gotta evolve with the game. That being said, though, I'm not one of those guys that will like spend a whole bunch of time watching fucking film and this.
Oh yeah, no, exactly. Like if it's on, it's on.
Yeah, exactly. Because I feel like some people, they'll get like so caught up in like watching this, but hey, if you're evolving, you're not gonna be that same person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah, you definitely, you see these things and you gotta be like, okay, this is like new trick he learned. Yeah. You know, that type of shit.
Because like fighters, you guys are always learning the game.
Yeah.
And you guys are always going through it through your career. Like, and we take it back to your upcoming fight with Bruno. Mm-hmm. What are some of the things you're taking in from your last fight into this fight? I mean, like it's like in any fighter that you know, okay, I shouldn't do this because I can get away with this. What's your game plan for Bruno?
Well, so in the last fight, the first round, I completely dominated that guy.
Yeah.
Dreykus. I a great fighter, nothing against him. At the end of the day, he beat me. He won that night. He was the better man. But in round one, I completely dominated him. And I remember like walking back to the corner at the end of round one before round two and thinking to myself like, bro, this guy has nothing for me. Like I seen everything. I seen him on the feet. He tried to wrestle me. I shut that down. Tried to go on the ground. I shut that down. Like I was dominating him everywhere. And I was like, this guy has nothing for me. And then when I came on in the second round, like it's not something that I consciously did, but if you see me, I was way like in the first round I was moving way more and being more tactical and like just playing my game. And in the second round, like I don't know what it was, the poly pride came on. I was like, bro, I just want to fucking bang.
Yeah.
And maybe that's something subconsciously because I told myself this guy has nothing for me. Yeah. It relaxed me a little bit.
And it made you get away from the game plan.
Yeah. So, like now with Bruno, it's just staying sharp, bell to bell. Got to stay sharp regardless of how it goes in there. Like I cannot, because that will show you like, even if you fucking think something, it might change something mentally. You know what I mean? So I'm focusing on bell to bell, staying sharp, bell to bell, start to finish, stay sharp. And I know this guy cannot beat me.
And you said it, that poly pride. It takes me back to, because when it takes you out of your game plan, that poly pride in what I do for a living, like, doing shows and everything, I'm like, I'm untouchable.
Yeah.
I can do whatever I want to do, kind of go from there. How do you kind of like steer that and kind of take control of that though?
Got to be smart. No, you got to you got to learn from, it's like, it's like how we as a people, you learn from history, right? Whether it's old, new, whatever. Like I got to look at my most recent fight, and that's easy for me to be like, look, this is the reason why, like something happened there in between those rounds. And again, like not taking away from Dreykus because he did a great job, but
young too.
I was fucking dominating him, you know what I mean, in round one. Like I literally, like this guy has put people out with weird ass punches, like short. He just has that weird style, and I was like, bro, he must have like some weird freakish punching power,
right?
Because I watched his previous fights, and he'll fucking hit guys with look like an arm punch,
like
and
real quick.
And I fucking felt all like the shots, like I slipped and evaded a lot, but then he did land a few, and I was like, bro, like, he has nothing for me. So I got to take that. I got to remember that, keep that fresh. And I do in training, and I got to think, like, I don't want that to happen again. I don't want to get too fucking comfortable in there, you know, like
too laxed.
Exactly. Yeah, like sometimes too relaxed is not a good thing. Like you don't ever want to fucking hype out and be like all nervous and whatnot, but you also don't want to get so comfortable in there that you're not sharp, you know, like it's that fine line.
But when the lights are on and you know the adrenaline's pumping, I can see where fighters can get away from their game plan and they want to get back to it. Do you ever watch old fights that you've like? I know everyone says, "Oh, I should have did this and that," but there's some other fights that you just watch. It's like, if I would have did this, I'd be in that position.
Oh, 100%. There is a lot. Even victories, even in victories, I think it's great to go back, watch the tape, study, and learn from it, because it's easy in a victory to just be like, I won that fight. Yeah. But you still made mistakes.
But you want to find the mistakes in that victory as well. Yeah.
Because somebody else is going to be watching that and be like, oh, this is where we can capitalize.
That's crazy.
So you got to erase that shit so that you cannot.
Because everyone has film on everybody, right?
Exactly.
So you're always like, okay, these are his weaknesses, these are his strengths, and we get away from, like, you guys always got to be constantly changing your game plan so you're not always the same fighter past fight, right? Yep. So how do you kind of say, going into this fight with Bruno, like, okay, I have all the experience that I have, what my game plan that he's going to see that he can't see where I got to come, where he can't see me coming?
Well, again, I think it just, for me, is just fucking staying sharp bell to bell. Because regardless, like, and this is just my belief in what I know. Like, I know that if bell to bell, if I'm sharp and on my game, like how I should have been in that last fight, how I was in that first round of that last fight, I know that this guy cannot touch me. Yeah. You know, like, I'm faster than him. My striking is better. My wrestling is there. So I just know I'm the better fighter. Yeah. So as long as I go out and execute that, then there's nothing that he can do to me.
Where do you get some of your motivation, some of your influence from? Like, what were some of the fighters that you pulled from into your career growing up?
So when I was younger, I love my favorite two fighters growing up was Vanderlei Silva and Shogun Rua. I love watching Pride back then, you know, and just seeing how, like, vicious those guys. They're vicious, you know, like, it was a different game back then. And again, the sport has evolved a lot, you know. And even recently, Shogun just retired. Like, that was kind of sad for me. I was like, damn, I used to freaking love watching this guy in Pride, the Grand Prix. And locally, I think one of the guys that kind of, like, got me into it, besides, like, my coaches that had direct, you know, influence on me. I remember going and watching the first Rumble on the Rock in Hilo that I went to. My dad took me because I had rented, like, the first UFC from this video store called Vision Quest on VHS.
Come on, the early UFCs,
and I was all into it. I was like, oh, this is great. And they were having fights, Rumble on the Rocks. And my dad was like, oh, you want to go? I was like, hell yeah. So we went, and I remember seeing Ross the Boss Ibanez.
Come on.
His walkout, like, his whole, everything about him, like, I feel like he's actually just seen that as a young kid, like, really, like, made me want to do it. Because he walked out to the and he came out, and then fucking, like, once the beat hit, he, like, ran out, started he shadow boxed real quick, and then he was fucking tapped, like, he was fucking jacked, and I was like, bro, this guy is fucking cool.
Come on, he was the dude, he was the guy,
and he could fight, like, he was a banger, like, your typical fucking Hawaii boy, like, stand and bang, like, that mentality.
All the bangers out there.
You know? And I was like, bro, that fucking guy is cool. Like, I want to be like that guy.
Like, I always talk about, like, Ray Seffel and Mark Hunt was one for me.
Hell yeah.
Like, shout out Ray Seffel. He's actually going to be on the show soon. But Ray Seffel and Mark Hunt, those fights back in those days was like, come on. Those were like watching your uncles go at it.
Hell yeah. Bro, this is a crazy thing for me. So 2000, this would have been 2007, 2008, PlayStation 2 days.
Yeah.
Me and one of my other best friends, Russell, we always used to play the K1 game.
K1 game, yep.
K1. And it was funny because both of our favorite fighter was Ray Seffel.
Come on, Sugar Ray.
So we fucking would pick him. So the matches was always Ray Seffel versus Ray Seffel. And bro, we would just fucking keep bombing overhands on each other, bombing overhands. And then fucking not even a year later, like, I felt like months later. So we were playing that game right up until I left. And then I came here. I was still playing that game. Yeah. And And I walked in the gym one day. At that time, we were at Tap Out. I walked in the gym and fucking Ray came walking in.
Shit.
And I was like me, I'm not the type of person to get like starstruck or fanboy, but I was like, bro, that's fucking crazy. I was just playing him on a video game. There he is.
That's crazy, yeah.
And then so he came in the gym, and then he's like, we were sparring that day, and he's like, oh, he's gonna spar. And I was like, bro, you know what? Like fucking like the anxiety was there. I was like, bro, this is Ray Sefo. But I was like, you know what? Fuck it. It would be a fucking honor to get knocked out from Ray Sefo.
Race, one of them old man's, old Samoan man strength.
Bro, so I was like, okay. So I went with Ray, and it was crazy. Ray is like one of the most fucking controlled. Like he could knock out anybody like that. But he's like literally the most controlled person I've ever come across. Like he can pull a punch on the drop of a dime. You know what I mean? Like it can be there.
Because he can knock your ass out if he wanted to, but he'll pull it real quick too. Yeah.
So I sparred at him, and bro, it was the coolest thing for me.
Hold up, bro. You sparred Ray Sefo?
Oh, I spar Ray Sefo every week.
Oh man.
Ray is my coach.
Yeah.
So anyway, so we built a relationship.
I'm talking about the first. I'm talking about Tap Out. That first one had to be like, come on.
Yeah. Like I was, you know what I mean? Like I was that young dumb. Like fuck yeah, let's go. Like now in training, because I'm older and you know I feel like there's more on the line. I gotta be a little bit smarter with it. I kind of just train with whoever, blah blah blah. Like I don't want to get fucking injured or cut or whatever and be out of a fight. But back then I was like, dude, Ray Sefo.
Come on. I always tell the story about Ray Sefo. Like my dad, you go up a poly household, you can get your ass whooped, right? Yep. So one time my dad beat up my brother, and then my sister was like, oh man, did he get beat up? I said, he got Ray Sefo beat up. He was like, what? So everybody knew what we was talking about because Pops drops with them Ray Sefo haymakers, but Ray Sefo was a legend in the game, man. And just to see him pay it forward and keep staying in the game, coaching fighters like yourself. Come on, man, they're legends in this.
Yeah, and that's the great thing about him is like, I don't know, maybe it's like his OCD or whatever. Like he could walk past a fucking cardio Taibo kickboxing class with a guy who never trained a day in his life, and you can tell, and he's on that mat, and Ray will like take the time in his day and be like, hey bro, Harry, you want to throw your jab like this and then do
always
this.
Coaching.
He like, I don't know, like that's why I'm like, why I say OCD is like, I feel like something clicks in his brain. He's like, no, I gotta fucking show this guy how to do it right.
I know exactly what that is. Like me going to somebody DJing and I hear, they could have did it this way. And it's like, like you said, it goes back to being OCD. But Ray Sefo even has that old poly man look. Like if Ray look at you a certain way, you're like, all right, my bad.
Oh, no, that's the crazy thing. I always tell him, I'm like, because you can get into some stories with him when he comes here.
Yeah, absolutely.
But dude, like, he'll tell me some stories. I'm like, bro, how the fuck did you not accidentally kill somebody?
Man.
Like it's one thing to hit somebody when they're expecting it, but like not like a false crack or anything. Yeah. But just like somebody who doesn't really know what you're capable of.
What their strength is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Ray is a big dude, but he's not all that tall. Like I feel like if somebody's seen you, they'll be a little bit more like, oh fuck, this is a fucking big dude. You know what I mean? Like you just have that physical prowess that is like, you don't have, like, that alone will get you out of a lot of shit.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
But when you have that Ray Sefo kind of like demeanor.
That's why I always feel bad for like little dudes. Like even though they can fight, they're always getting fucking tested because they're little.
Always.
Yeah. But like Ray, I'm like, dude, you get into guys, like I get into fucking, I've like, or gotten into street fights and fucking put guys out. And luckily, knock on wood, luckily I never killed anybody on accident.
Come on.
I'm like, how the fuck did you not do it? Jeez.
Because I could just see Ray Sefo in a street fight. Oh, he would be arrested for murder.
Oh, 100%.
Because him knocking somebody out with whatever he hit Mark Hunt with, just watching them go at it, hit each other. I'm like, bro, this is like a crime watching that. That'll always be the clip that I'll forever remember of them two just teeing off on each other.
That is the greatest K1 fight of all time.
Before we get up out of here, what are your goals for the rest of your UFC career and after fighting?
You know, like that's obviously, like I very well believe in my skills, in my talent, in myself. I've trained with some of the best of these guys, and I know that I can do it. Get to the top, get that gold, and it's just a matter of fucking lining up, like getting everything going in order. You know, sometimes it comes down to that, but obviously fucking always I want to be chasing that gold. And then after fighting, you know, like I guess we'll figure it out when we get there, but I don't know. I thought about it a little bit, but not a whole bunch exactly.
Yeah.
But I know what I want my life to look like after fighting. You know, like the one thing that fighting has given me that I love the most is the freedom in my day-to-day schedule. Yeah. Like it's hard for me to make plans like plan a trip next year because hey, I might be fighting,
might be training, you know?
Exactly. So we don't know that, but on the day-to-day, like it gives me so much time to spend with my kids and my girl, and I love that. So I hope whatever it is next after fighting, that I'm still afforded that same type of schedule, you know?
You still got a lot of fights in you, B.
Oh, 100%.
You still got a lot of fights in you. I didn't mean to put you in your retirement already, but I'm saying there's a lot of fights in you. But going with that, when you are traveling, what's your favorite place to travel to? Not Hawaii, though.
Oh, Hawaii.
Not Hawaii, though. Hawaii. Okay.
Not Hawaii, though. Hawaii. I don't know. It's funny. Like, I'm not, like, much of a traveler.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you some of my favorite places I've been. Japan.
Yeah. Oh,
I fought out there in Japan. Yeah. I fucking love Japan.
Best ramen ever in the world.
Oh, they got some of the best food.
Yeah, period. You know? Yeah. Even at the local liquor store.
Bro, even at the 7-Eleven.
Yeah, exactly.
Their 7-Elevens are fire. And then the other place we went in 2018, like my girl is more of a traveler and she likes it and she's good at doing it, I guess you could say, coming up with like itineraries and what we're going to do. Yeah. But we went to Ireland and dude, Ireland was beautiful.
I got to put that on the list.
Yeah, Ireland
got to be
beautiful.
on the list.
Ireland was beautiful. The only downside to Ireland and the whole UK, sorry UK, but their food sucks.
Yeah, I was about to say.
I love your guys' breakfast though. I love the
good breakfast, but the rest of it,
full English breakfast. I could eat that every day. Everything else,
Trey, let's go to music now because you have a love for music.
Yep.
What's bumping in the headphones at the gym?
It's usually, honestly, either on like 2000s rap, or like older than that, old school, like some Pac.
Come on, that good rap.
Yeah,
that like, good rap. Let me not go. That good rap.
Yeah, NWA, like some like older school stuff, and I bump a little bit more of the new stuff here and there, but it plays out fast for me. Yeah. Like I'll like old stuff I can listen to all the time. Like every day I can listen to it. The newer stuff I'll listen to it, and then after I've done that to it a few times, I'm like, eh.
Yeah. What are some shows that you'll pay money to go see? Concerts. Adele. Yep. Have you seen that one yet?
Not yet.
Yeah, I keep seeing clips of it on social media, but it looks like it's a hard ticket to get.
Yes,
like I've seen Usher and I've seen Bruno Mars, but Adele looks like it's the one.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I just love like that old school. Like I wish I would have been able to go to a Whitney concert. Yeah. You know, like that type of concert. I'm actually.
Come on, Bray. He said the Whitney concert.
I'm excited to see fucking Mariah Carey at Lovers and Friends.
Come on.
Like I just like that. Yeah. That ballads and. But yeah, I'm a huge Adele fan, and she has a residency here. But bro, tickets is like $1,000 a piece.
Tickets, they want my youngest born. They wanted them. You can have them, but yeah, it's a lot of money for the tickets.
So I'm just waiting. Like I know at some point she got to do a stadium show at Allegiant.
Yeah.
So whenever she does, I'll be right there.
I'm glad you brought up Allegiant because as you guys know, on social media, me, Fiji, and the rest of the Raider Nation are always going at it. Brad is an avid Raider Nation. So we got to talk about some of these moves that are going on. What happened to Waller? You guys got Jimmy G. What are your thoughts on the state of the Raiders right now?
Jimmy G, so
he's not that bad, guys.
Well, I never really been a fan of him.
Yeah.
And then when we got him, I was like, fucking ruined my day just because I knew they were going to do some shit like that. But if he can stay healthy, he actually ain't a bad quarterback. You know, and hey, maybe he fucking puts it all together. He's healthy this whole season. Leads us to the promised land.
Me personally, as a Niner fan, was like Jimmy G was the perfect pickup for the Raiders. And then all the Raider fans that I know that are friends of mine was like, nah, fuck Jimmy. Fuck. Like, bro, if he's healthy,
If he's healthy,
he's good. But then I started seeing all these other moves.
No, all the other moves is fucking head scratchers to me. Like, okay, we got rid of fucking Stidham. Like, okay, so if Jimmy G inevitably gets hurt,
which he will,
then who the fuck is gonna back him up? You know what I mean? Stidham was great.
Yeah.
Stidham was great.
Then you get rid of his safety valve in Darren Waller. And I'm like, what's going on there? Then they have this whole thing about Josh McDaniels wasn't invited to the wedding, and that's why he got bitter about that. It's just, I've been a Raider hater since Oakland days. Yeah. And people say you hate the Raiders because you follow what they're doing, which is good because it's always a good rival. Yeah. I'm a diehard Niner fan, but I always see what the Raiders are doing as well. Yeah. And we just made a signing today, Cleveland Farrell. from Clemson that never panned out. And now we got him. Yeah. So it's kind of like a wash. You guys get Jimmy, we get Cleveland, and we don't know what he's going to do.
Bro, I don't know what. I feel like they're going to end up trading fucking Renfro too. Like, that's going to piss me off too.
Yeah.
A few people's like, oh, we got Jacoby Myers.
Yeah, he's
great. This is not like, fuck, we didn't need that though.
Yeah, he had Devontae already.
Bro, we fucking need, we had Devontae, Waller, and fucking Renfro, and we have Jacobs, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, the offense is fucking fine. Like, soon we need that future QB, yes.
Yeah.
Do we necessarily need that this year? No. Like, we need fucking help on defense. Yeah. Max Crosby needs fucking help.
Come on, help Max out.
Bro, they fucking fumbled the bag on Jalen.
Yeah.
He went to fucking Miami for nothing.
For nothing.
Fucking third rounder and a never heard of guy.
Jalen Ramsey,
bro,
come on.
So Darius Slade just got released.
Yeah.
I hope that.
I hope the Niners get him too. Niners or Raiders are the ones going to be him. But what made you a Raider fan? Did you grow up a Raider fan?
Grew up a Raider fan. And then just so happens I'm out here, and then they came here fucking, it all worked out.
It all fell in your favor at that time.
I've grew up a Raiders fan, diehard Raiders fan. And you know, as you know, it's been a rough.
Oh, trust
life.
me, I know, because Fiji and all them know once I post the crying Jordan meme face, they unfollow me for a day or two. Then they're like, you know what, bro, it always goes back and forth.
The funniest thing is this: so like growing up in Hawaii, you don't like division rivals, whatever, but like for like the Niners thing, right? That's more of a Bay Area rivalry, right?
Yeah.
So you don't really feel that growing up in Hawaii. It wasn't until I moved out here and then I met a lot of people from the Bay. Then
I told you about that rivalry.
Well, no, like then you start like, because they'll talk shit. The Niner fans in Hawaii don't give a shit. Niner fans and Raider fans in Hawaii,
they get along.
Yeah, there's no rivalry there.
Yeah.
None. But when you come to the mainland and then you have the Bay Area rivalry, then you have the guys that are actually from the Bay.
I'm telling you that rivalry went where me and my brothers, when the Raiders would come to Candlestick Park, when Raider fans would go in the porta potties, we'd push them over. That's how much of a rivalry it was. They'd come out with shit all over themselves, like, oh well, you know, you should go use that bathroom over there. But that's because it was the Oakland San Francisco thing.
Yeah.
And it's like almost like Bloods and Crips.
No,
like,
that's a fucking real rivalry.
Yeah.
So it wasn't until I came out here that I started like fucking hating the Niners. I was like, oh, you motherfuckers! Like, and then it was funny when the Raiders left the Bay, it like kind of died down a little bit, and then I started like not hating them as much, I guess. Like I still kind of root for them, but I don't fucking hate them like how I hate the Chiefs.
I'll see the Chiefs, Raider fan, I can understand that because that's in the AFC West and do that. But you know, Chiefs is just Patrick Mahomes and his brother just pissed me off to no end. But that's neither here nor there. Before we get up out of here, top 5 poly artists that you listen to.
Top 5 poly artists that I listen to.
Yeah.
Fuck. I'm gonna have to go with an old. I don't know. I can't even put them in order. But one of the ones that I always listen to, I have from when I was a kid that I fucking love, and I still listen to them today, and I personally know them too. And it was funny because I used to listen to them before I personally knew them. Was Kolel.
Oh yeah, come on.
Uncle Ira Kikolo.
Yeah.
You know, like I paddled for him, and you know, ended up like I went to school with his nephews and
legendary.
Stuff. Yeah, so like I'm real close with that family. Another old school one that I love listening to and I always revert back to, Kalapana.
Come on. These are like the Hawaiian classics. These are legends right here from Hawaii. Yeah.
Of course, Fiji.
Yeah. Shout out brother Fiji, man.
Yeah, I love listening to Fiji, man. To me, he's always been one of the best, and he's still like
to this day.
Exactly.
Yeah, to this day, still doing his thing.
I'm gonna go with another old school, Brother Walter.
Yeah, come on, Brother Walter. Wow.
He's freaking like, you know, like he's getting up there in age, and I think they're like saying like he's probably maybe done performing already.
But just his body of work.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, that's Brother Walter right there.
And wait, is this only Hawaii or
no?
Okay.
Yeah, any of them.
And I love J Boog, man. Yeah. And
shout out Boogie, man.
No, for him like it takes me back because of this. So when he first was coming on the scene, I think he was already popular out in California already. And people knew who he was. We hadn't fucking really heard him back in Hawaii. This was before he was on the radio stations in Hawaii. Social media wasn't what it was back then.
Exactly. They're slowly starting to hear about it.
This is like 2008, 2007, 2008-ish. And I remember, I don't know who brought it. Maybe it was Nico. Nico Vitale or Brandon Wolf maybe got it from somebody. Anyway, fucking back in the burnt CD days, somebody came in there like, bro, you gotta listen to this guy.
Yeah.
And so we put it on in the gym and played his, and what is that first album?
The Hear Me Roar album.
You Hear Me Roar. It was that album.
With Love Season and all the classics.
On a burnt disc. And we had no clue who this guy was.
Yeah.
And I mean, we knew he was a poly dude. We thought he was from Hawaii, honestly.
Yeah.
And we had that on repeat at practice. And bro, I fucking love that album.
Yeah.
Anytime
Classic.
anytime I hear songs from that come on, I fucking like, it just takes me back to that time.
Yeah.
And that was a great like time in my life. So he's one of them that I love listening to.
Come on, man. That's family right there too.
Yep.
That's family. Brad Tavares, fight coming up April 22nd, UFC 222 fight night against Bruno Silva. Do your thing, man.
Thank you.
Represent for all of us because we all rooting for you, brother.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you guys for having me. You know, it's been a pleasure to be here. I love just fucking coming out and talking stories.
Come on, man. That's what it's all about.
So thank you for having me.
Come on, man. Western Conference Podcast, your boy Big Body Cisco, Brad Tavares. Dos Caras Tequila, we here, baby. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.